Hello, everybody. This is CJ Wiley with more adventures on the road down here in southern Louisiana, touring around. I've had several requests to explain how we used to gamble playing 9-ball back in the 70s was before my time, but the 80s and early 90s, everybody that gambled played 2 foul instead of 1 foul. We called it rollout, push out. I called it 2-shot shootout. And I played a lot of big gambling matches like this. And the old timers back there at that time, somebody asked them to play 1 foul because it was being played in the tournaments. But tournament players and gamblers were like two different. It was almost like boxers and street fighters. I mean, we gamblers were willing to play to the death. We played until somebody won, and a lot of times it would take 15, 20 hours. I've played many matches that lasted over 20 hours with some of the greatest money players, like Reed Pierce and I played several matches that lasted a couple days, and it was intense playing this 2-foul, 2-shot shootout. And one of the players that helped me at the very beginning, I was like 19 years old, is Vernon Elliott. A lot of you have heard they called him the Faceless Man. And he was an undercover player, never would play in tournaments, but won big scores. In Detroit, I think he won about 900,000, and he took off a lot of big gambling matches because he was a champion banker and champion rotation player, one pocket, snooker. He played everything really well. And when I played him up in Indianapolis, he showed me some things that I'd never seen before. And it was really the way he rolled out to bank shots. Because when you're playing the 2-shot shootout game, there's no kicking. And that's what the old timers would say if you wanted to play the 1 foul. They'd say, "I'm not kicking at my money. Are you crazy?" Because kicking never really was supposed to be part of pocket billiards, unless the ball's close to the pocket or something. Of course, you would sometimes be forced to kick the ball in, but it's more of a billiard. The Filipinos really showed how well people could kick because of their billiard knowledge. Efren's a 3-cushion billiard player, just a notch under the champions, but he plays like 1-rail billiards and caroms about as good as anybody, I guess. So anyway, you always get a chance to push out. So like if your opponent misses and hooks you, you're not defenseless where you gotta kick at a ball and get lucky just to get out of an unintentional trap. See, in pocket billiards, you should be punished or at least not rewarded for making mistakes. So when people miss and hook you or snooker you, they say, that's just not a good part of pocket billiards. And another thing that kind of took the strategy out was your jump cues. Because if you play a 2-way shot where you're shooting at the pocket and playing safe behind another ball, and you leave it close to the pocket, the guy can just jump over the other ball and make it and run out. Or if they hook themselves, they can jump over the ball and run out. See, so they're rewarded for making mistakes, and that's just not good. So Vernon Elliott would roll out to these off-angled bank shots, and he's the first one to show me not 2-way shots, but 3-way shots, and was an expert at shooting hard shots that he was really the underdog to make, but he was playing safe at the same time and playing shape on the next ball at the same time. So this isn't a 2-way shot, this is a 3-way shot. I remember when I first met Junior Weldon Rogers, he trapped me in a bar in a gambling game where I gave him the 6 and the 8 and the break. He played one-handed jacked up, and I played two-handed. And I'd never seen anybody play so good one-handed. And I went over to the guy that I was with, and I said, "Man, I think I'm in a trap." And this is my friend Chuck Bradley said, "Well, I guess you're just going to have to figure it out." He was always a great corner man. So I did figure it out. I thought to myself, what can I do that he can't do playing one-handed? And that is jumping balls. So I started pushing out every chance I got to where I was just barely hooked by the next ball. Well, he couldn't jump over it, so he'd give it back to me. I'd jump over it and run out. So I ended up beating him out of, I think I won a little over 2,000 the first night. We were supposed to play again, and I told Chuck, I said, "Man, I don't want to play him anymore." And it was fortunate that I didn't play, because another friend of mine, Doug Smith, ended up playing him and losing about 11,000, I think, over the next couple days trying to give him that game, because it really wasn't possible. And years later, Weldon told me, he said, "Man, I have to thank you." He said, "When you beat me the way you did with that jump shot, it taught me something. So every time I matched up from that point on, I made it where it wasn't legal to jump balls." And then I absolutely had the nuts. So he said he won over 50,000 after he lost the 2,000 to me. So you never know, good, bad, who knows? We never really can predict the future. We just got to take everything that happens and make the best out of it, really. That's the main thing. So, but as far as the one foul rules compared to the two foul rules, there's a big difference. And I've always said, like playing the two foul or two shot shootout rules, I could write a book about the strategy, and especially the three-way shots. People don't even know what three-way shots are anymore, hardly. So this game, teaches you that, and it teaches you a lot about the deep level, or the deep levels of pool. There's lots of different levels. You'd be amazed, when I'm teaching people, I kind of break them through and push them into further levels of play through showing them how to aim and align themselves, and so they can get down on the ball consistently every time, and start from the same position every time on every shot. See, that's the key. That's the one thing you're not going to read in the books or see in the videos. I've explained it, but if I don't work with somebody in person, it's hard to get their alignment perfect, because the way the eyes work, if you're not right exactly on the line, your eyes will make an adjustment, and it'll appear that you are on the line that you're trying to get on, but you won't be. So you'll often shoot a lot of long straight-in shots and swear you hit it just right and miss the balls. People do that for years and years and don't figure out that the root of that problem is always the alignment. So it's basically they're lining up on something that's kind of an illusion. And man, it helps so much when you detect that and fix it, because then you can do like I do and start from the same exact position on every single shot. I only use 2 alignment positions. But anyway, I don't want to get off on that. I wanted to explain the 2 foul rules. There was 2 variations. I'll explain the difference. The one we used to play most is any 2 fouls. So at any time you can push out the placement. You're going to place the cue ball, and if you're just an inch off, it can change the dynamic of the shot. Where if I'm playing a great player, if my placement is a couple inches off, I may be giving him an easy way to win the game, or at least take a free shot to where he'll have a chance to win but can't lose. And that's another thing you want to think about in pool. You always want to shoot shots that you can win and can't lose, and don't shoot shots that you can lose and can't win. That sounds simple, but it's powerful, especially playing games like one pocket and this 2 foul 9-ball rules. Both are the same. So you can push out at any time, then your opponent has the option to shoot the shot or give it back to you. Now, another thing that has been taken out of the game that nobody seemed to notice was the spot shots. See, in two foul, if you, let's say you scratch and the next ball is behind the line, 2 diamonds up is, we called it the kitchen or the line. But that's, you have to shoot within that area with ball in hand. There's no ball in hand anywhere on the table. So, unless you make 2 fouls. So you always want to push out to where your opponent has a shot that's questionable. And then, the higher level players, if they give you the shot back, not only are you going to shoot at that shot, but you're going to find a way to get behind another ball and play position on the next ball at the same time. That's what I'm calling the 3-way shots. When you start to learn how this is done, every game will improve. You'll uncover a level of play that you didn't realize was there. So if the ball's behind the line when somebody scratches, you spot the ball and you get ball in hand behind the line, and that's called a spot shot. And you just don't see those spot shots much anymore. You do in one pocket, but you don't see it in 9-ball because they play ball in hand anywhere on the table, which is just too big of a penalty. And I saw an interview Fedor Gorst did with Joe Rogan, and he said that he thought 9-ball, 80% of it was the break. And he'd probably say 5% of it is jump shots. So 15% is actually playing the game. And I agree with that. I've said that many times, that the game of 9-ball has been reduced to about 15% of its potential. Now, I've got a way to teach people the 3-way shots and play this 2-foul game in a format that I think is better than what we used to play, because there were a few problems with how we played before. If you're playing somebody like Buddy Hall, he would just roll out to nothing and play safe and just squeeze you until you'd finally give him a 3-way shot. He'd make it and run out, and he would just keep doing that to you, and it was brutal. So, I did something with the rules so that you had to make more of an offensive attempt at the pocket. And I'll be releasing this new game and rules first to the people that have taken lessons from me and have joined my YouTube channel and my website at cjwiley.com. I'm going to give you guys the chance to play this game, and girls. Yes, ladies, I know at least a couple of you out there are watching me. But, man, it'll really, really improve your game. And then I'm going to do a podcast and start showing people the more and more advanced ways to play it. And then when you go back to playing your regular rules, you'll have a distinct advantage, and you're going to see the game closer to the level of a top champion player, because we do see the game different. And I love to help people to see that, because it opens up a new world. It's a lot of fun and the enjoyment, and I look at pool like it's a way to express myself, and there's nothing more creative in pool than a 3-way shot. If you're shooting a really hard bank shot and you're playing safe behind a ball and position on the next ball, when you make those shots, it's beautiful. Anyway, this is CJ. If you want to learn more about my fundamentals, techniques, and systems, masteringpocketbilliards.com, and it's my private membership where I share my stuff, and I'm going to keep adding to it. I just did a video on strengthening your stroke that has become very popular. A lot of people are benefiting off that. Only after a couple weeks, I'm going to make a more advanced one here soon. And anyway, I appreciate you joining me, and look for this new game to come out. I'm going to start helping people to reach their full potential. I've done it through fundamentals. Now I'm going to do it through teaching the advanced aspects of the game itself. Till next time, this is CJ, over and out.